Two times you have to enter the password command. It will ask for the new Unix password. Even if I enter the password, it will not be visible. That is the speciality of the Unix. That is, you cannot see the password, what you have entered. The same thing, once again, it will ask you confirm password. I have terminated because I have already changed the password. That is why I have terminated the control D. And this is the output of the password. Printf I have shown in the terminal itself, and also change directory. See this cd command, most of the times we'll use it. First I'll clear the output. Then I want to go inside, there is a root folder. Root folder, inside the root folder, I want to go inside the user folder. ls command if I enter, see here, is there any folder inside this? There is a folder called desktop. There is a folder called documents. Now I want to go inside the folder called desktop. cd, change my directory, cd desktop, top. Now see the control, it is inside the desktop. Now I'll clear, and if I list the files, see, you are going to see this many files. Where are these files? It is on my desktop. There is a text file, there is a new file, all those things, prime number.java, some file is there here. All those files which are there on the desktop. If I want to go back once again to the root, cd slash, see now my control, it is inside the root home. It is inside the root home. See, this is the root home. This is the root home. The next thing is, next I will start the next chapter, that is called as a Unix files. This Unix files which comes under this module itself. What is this Unix files? See, in the computer, in the Unix operating system, everything is a file. Everything is a file means what it contains. What is a file? What is a text file? It contains the stream of characters. So what is a file means? It is a container where we can store the information. That is uh, the meaning of files, where you can store the information. In the Unix operating system, everything is a file means every information will be stored in a file. How we are going to see in this chapter. See, you have seen here, there is a file here, test file. Inside that, hi, hello, some message I have stored. With the file, properties is there. What is the properties? Name, type, size, permissions, all those things. For that, we'll call it as a metadata. when I have accessed, when I have last modified, all those information is there. This is a file, and the commands what I enter, I have shown in the folder called user/bin. Inside that, there are so many executable files. That is also a file. This is a folder, the NS2 program final. This is a folder. Inside that, there are 2 files. Even this directory or folder, we call it as a directory, that is also stored as a file. Inside this operating system, this is also stored as a file. I have connected the keyboard, the mouse to this system, but that information, before it is going to read those keyboards or the mouse, that information will be stored in a file. Therefore, anything in the operating system, it will be stored as a files. That is why we want to study about files. Files, it is a container for storing information. A file means there will be a file name, there will be a metadata, all those things. We want to store somewhere, we'll take a separate area and we'll store it in the hard disk. Who is going to manage, control all those files? The heart of the Unix operating system, that is a kernel, that is going to manage. It knows how to open that file, read that file, change that file, all those things. Mainly, there are 3 categories. There are so many other categories, small categories. Mainly, there are 3 categories of files. One is the regular file, ordinary file, which you every day will use it whenever we use the operating system. The next one is directory file. Those files also we have used, but we have not seen it. And the device file. Device file, usually it is not accessible. There are mainly 3 categories of files. What is this ordinary file is? Ordinary file is nothing but, say, this text file. The text file, it contains some information which is in the readable format. Which is in the readable format, which I'll call it as ordinary file. Ordinary file is nothing but, in that there are 2 files. One is text file, another one is binary file. This text file is nothing but printable characters it contains. You can view them, you can edit them. Just now have shown, right, one text file. This text file, it contains some hi, hello. I can read it, I can print it, all these things. Then you can call it this as a text file, which is an ordinary file, regular file. One more is binary file. Even your C program, Java program, shell script when you write, shell script is nothing but a script is nothing but a program. In the shell, they don't call it as a program, they call it as a script. What it contains commands. That is why it is called as shell scripts. In the same way, there are binary files. What is this binary files? This binary files, it can contain printable characters, means you can read it, you can modify, and also the non-printable characters. Non-printable characters means, if you try to open the audio file or the image file or the video file, are you able to see the code of that? If you open that file and if you see, you will see some other extra characters which it is not in the readable format. They are going to be called as the binary files. The binary files is nothing but, there can be a printable format and non-printable characters. That is why it includes ASCII range. We know the ASCII range, right? Numbers. In the keyboard, for this keyboard, there will be 0 to 255. All those characters can be included, which may not be in the readable format. If it contains just the alphabets and the numbers, then it will be called as a text file. If it includes other characters, other than the alphanumeric, if it contains, then we say it is an entire ASCII range. Then that is called as a binary file. Example of the binary file is your pictures, images, sound files, video files. They are called as binary files. Even though whenever you compile the C program, if you go to that folder and check, there will be .obj file and .exe file. You cannot see the code of that. If you try to open that in the Notepad++ or any other software, you will see the garbage value. It looks like a garbage value. They are called as the binary files. Binary files or a text file, which is called as an ordinary file. These things you have seen. You have came across these files. Every day you will play the music or see the videos, or you are going to see the pictures, or you will write the C program, the Java program. All those it will called as an ordinary file. What is this directory file in the Unix operating system is, just now I have shown the directory on folder. See this? Just now I have shown the folder. Inside this folder, there are two files. One is experiment1.tcl, another one is experiment2.tcl. This is called as a directory file. Whether the folder is called as a directory file? No. This is called as a directory, but inside the operating system, there will be a file inbuilt. It is created that you cannot access, but you can see it. Just you can see how it is listed. It's they inbuilt. Whenever you create a folder, whenever you create a directory, it will create one directory file. What it contains? It contains the list of file names and the unique number for that. It doesn't store the file names. It stores the unique number, which is called as inode number. If you want to see that, I'll show it here. See, there is a folder called desktop. Inside this root, see the control, the still symbol indicates the control. It is inside the root home. This is the root home. In this root home, there is a folder called desktop. That desktop, see, if you want to see, there are two commands. To get the entire details, you are going to use the command called stat. If you want just a minimum data, ls-li file name is enough. We'll see both ls-li. The folder is desktop. See, inside that, so many files are there. The inode number of that folder is 147904. Clear? We'll take another folder. There is a folder called Unix. Inside the root home, there is a folder called Unix. We'll open that. See, if I enter that, it will give me the ls-li Unix, inode number, file name. You will get the details of say this. Inside the Unix folder, there is one file, test.txt. Inside the Unix folder, there is one file. The temporary file, another file is there. We are going to access only this file. Another temporary file will be there that we are not able to see that. For both the files, there is an unique number, which is called as an inode number. Which is called as an inode number. This is a unique number. The directory file, that is why I said you can just see the inode numbers. You can see the file names, but entire that file you cannot access. In this command ls-li file, the folder name, it will give you these details, inode numbers and other details. In the same way, the stat command, stat stat and Unix, if I give, then it will give me the file is this, what is the size, how many blocks are there inside, blocks are allocated inside the hard disk, then whether what type of file it is, this is a directory file. This indicates directory file. Instead of that, I'll give a stat. I'll give one file, 3.tcl. Inside that folder, there is a 3.tcl. 3.tcl. See now, it is showing it is a regular file. Unix, this is a directory file, but 3.tcl, some text file, the text file which I have given, it is showing it as a regular file. For that also, some unique number is there. For directory file also, there is a unique number. Now I think this is clear. What is a directory file? The directory file which contains the information of all the files. How it stores? It has a two columns. One is file name list. Another one is the unique identification number of the. It can be the file, or it can be there will be subfolders inside that, subdirectories. All those information, which is called as an inode number. Unique number is called inode number. Remember this name, inode. Who is going to enter, update that table? All those responsibility to create or remove a file, everything it will be done by the kernel automatically. To give the inode number for a specific file, to link all those responsibilities directory file, that is done by the kernel. That is called as a directory file. Whether you can access it, whether you can modify it, no. Text files, yes. The regular file, the ordinary file, you can edit, you can change it. But here directory file, everything is been handled by the kernel. Whether you can read it, yes, you can see the file names, you can see the inode numbers. This is what a directory file. There is one more file called device file. The third category and the last category in this is the device file. This device file is, assume that I have connected one USB pen drive into my laptop. Then I want to store some 10 text files inside that pen drive. If I want to store that, how the operating system know whether the USB is connected? How it is going to know is that information, whenever it is connected, there will be a temporary file. It will be created inside one specific folder. What is that folder? That folder is /dev. I'll show that. See, inside the root computer file system, there is a folder called dev, devices. Inside these devices, see, there are so many files are there. These files are related to the devices. Whenever I connect a keyboard, whenever I connect a mouse or the any other drives, everything it will be stored in one file. Now, if I store something into the pen drive, then the kernel will fetch this file which is inside the device folder. It will read about that, it will get the information about that hardware which I have connected. Then it will go and store. Or else if I want to read something from a pen drive, if I want to see read from the keyboard, so many hardware resources are there in this computer. For everything, one file is there here inside the folder called dev. All the devices, there will be a file. For all the devices, see RAM, RAM 0, RAM 1, RAM 2. So many files are there. In order to access that, we want these files. These are called device files. The files which are inside this DEV are called as device files. Without that, you cannot access any devices. These are the main three categories of files. The next thing is file names. How we give the names? What is the size limit of the file name? We usually don't follow the format. We usually don't follow the format to enter the file names. But the rules is you have to, whenever we give the file name, we have to follow some format. The size of the file names is 255 characters. That is the size limit. You cannot give one extra other characters. Usually we give 5 to 10 characters for a file name, but maximum limit is 255. What all the characters you can use? You can use numbers, you can use alphabets. There are other 3 special characters you can use: dot, hyphen, and underscore. Only these 3 special characters are allowed. Why others are not allowed? One example is slash, it is not allowed. Why it is not allowed? Because for the root, the folder name is itself root. See, sorry, slash. See here, for the root, the slash indicates it is inside the root. That is why they have already used those characters. That is why they are going to say that don't use any other characters. It is not allowed. And also Unix is case sensitive. You can give a file name with uppercase, the same name with a lowercase. They are treated as 2 different files. It is not case insensitive. If it is case insensitive, 2 files with uppercase and lowercase, you cannot give. Case insensitive means you can change the same name with the 2 different case, uppercase and lowercase. This is about the file names. Just the rules. What is about the file names? See, because of this directory structure, what is the advantage? The advantage of this directory structure is a same file inside the operating system. 2 files can have a same name, but they should be present at the different folders, different directories. Because of these different directories, you can give the same names for the files. Actually, how in the Unix operating system files are organized? Files are organized by the groups. In the Unix, files are organized. All the related files, that will be grouped and stored at one place. Just now I have shown DEV, which contains all the device files. You have seen one more folder called user. Inside that, bin. Inside that, there are so many commands are there. All those command files, executable files, they are stored inside the bin. Same files, the binary files, all the binary files, that group, it is stored in another file. This is the platform or the conventions that is being followed in the Unix operating. Same related files are stored at one place. There is an hierarchy structure. On top of that, which is the directory, there is a root directory. What is the symbol character they have used? Slash character. I'm talking about this file system slash. See, inside this device files, all the device related files are there. All the command related, it is inside this bin. This is what grouping. This is how they have organized. The Unix operating system is organized. There can be a sub files also, subdirectories also. The top of that is, you can visualize like this. The typical Unix file system, the top is root. Inside that bin are there. Inside this bin, all those commands are there. In the same way, user, there are some other commands. See, this is how it is been organized. There can be inside a directory, there can be other subdirectories. This rectangle mark that is slanted, that you are going to see as a files. These are the directories, subdirectories. This is the hierarchical structure that has been followed in the Unix. And the last topic I'm going to discuss is this hidden files. See, You have seen this, I think, in the Unix, in the Windows also. A file which starts with the dot itself. It is called as a dot files. What is this dot files is? A character dot will be there in the file name. Dot inode, dot configuration. Why we give the file name for the dot means those files will contain configuration information. Any softwares that you have installed, the WAMP, any softwares that you install, the configuration settings that will be stored in one file. That file name, it will start from the dot. After that, you will see the file names, but it will start with the dot. We use the dot for the to construct the file name. They are called as the hidden files or the dot files. You can see the dot files every time you are not able to access that. Whenever I use the ls command, it will not list the files, but ls hyphen a, if I enter, you can see the dot files. See here dot rnd, see here dot mozilla. All these are configuration files. The user should not use that. You should avoid that using that. That is why they every time whenever we access it, the ls command, it is not going to list. But in order to see the hidden files, there is a command called ls-a. There are examples of other files are .exrc, profile, bash. Why we use this? We use this to store the configuration files and startup information. The user should not use these files. If you want to use, you can use, but you should be very careful whenever using the configuration files or any startup. Whenever we boot, some information is stored in one file, the startup file, that will be stored in the dot files. And the remaining, the next, the parent-child relationship that we'll discuss in the next class. Now you can send your attendance. Yes, you can give your send your name followed by USN followed by name. In the profile, if your name is there, that will not be counted for your attendance. I'm repeatedly telling you this. Adesh Sriram, Abhiram Bharadwaj, Akshata NS, and Amit Krishna. I don't guarantee your attendance will be marked. Sagar, please remove your name from the profile name.